So I suppose when I said it was exciting, I guess it's all a bit relative, really. So exciting for me. So I don't use any rulers when I'm quilting because, well, I don't. I'm a bit of a faff, and it doesn't really matter if I'm not exact. So I don't know if you can see here, but I'm deliberately not sewing on the white sections of the star or this white edge here. So I'm just sewing around them, which, you know, it feels a bit more exciting when you're doing it, because I've now got to fit. I'm doing a kind of double paisley kind of shape, which is my go-to one if I've got something more complicated to do. So I've got to make sure that I fit those shapes to the shape of my patchwork as well. But what it should do is later on it will make it so that these areas will stay kind of puffy, and it'll just highlight them a little bit, because I'm squashing down all the rest of it, and it gives me something to do. And in this one, because I've got 4 different blocks, so there's blocks 1, 2, 3 goes all the way to the edge, and then this one goes along the top. This along here, I put some applique to join the seam, because obviously I couldn't get the trees to go all the way across if I got a seam in the way. So I have got a little bit of extra fabric in places, so I'm just making sure that when I quilt, I'm easing that in. So if you've got a little bit of extra fabric, try changing down the size of your motif, because the more you sew, the more it kind of gathers, or, you know, it uses up that extra fabric that you've got. So if I know that I can see that I've got a little bit of extra fabric, then you might notice that I size down and just do a little bit of extra quilting in that area, and it just helps use it up. Now here I've gone into this corner, but I've actually missed a little bit, so I'm just going to work my way back and go and do this bit first, because otherwise I'm going to career off and later I'll notice that I didn't get that bit done. So I often just define the edges first, and then that gives me something to quilt to. This isn't the easiest of threads to work on, because this silver is actually metallic and it's really shiny, just making it a little bit difficult to work out where I've already been and where I haven't. But don't go back down to that thing. So here you can see I've got a lot of seams going on here, so I'm just going to slow down so that my needle's got time to go around everything, and reduce the risk of breaking my needle. And then just really make sure that there's enough quilting in to kind of keep everything in place. So little motifs. And then back along these trees. I'm not sewing over these trees because I want them to kind of stand out a little bit. And then I've done this bit down here, so I seem to be heading off in this direction. So I'm going to just go along the bottom of the trees, because that'll hide my stitches here, because I don't want to have to, otherwise I'm going to have to work my way back around all of these areas. And as I say, because of this metallic thread, it's actually quite difficult to spot where I've done and where I haven't. It's a lot easier when we get up back onto the plain thread again. Plain a bit. And you can see I've got pins. I don't use the safety pins, because safety pins, any quilting safety pins that I've bought, unless I don't know if I've just bought cheap ones, but they're quite blunt. And you can't, it's not as easy, I wouldn't be able to just take them out as easy. I'd have to. So here again, I've got another thick bit. So just be careful, because this is the blue of the sky, so I don't want to quilt with that thread there. So I think I might have got, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to whiz between these 2 branches so that I can get into this section here without crossing it. So just little motifs to fill in this space. And then again, I'll just go around the edge of that so I can get into this one. There we go, and then we have a little free area again to quilt, which is a bit easier. And I'm nearly to the edge here, because the tree is the end of, there isn't any more grey there, so we need to break off and go round to the other side.